The entire rooftop restaurant went silent when Dante Bellucci walked through the doors. Not because anyone had announced him. Men like Dante Bellucci did not need introductions. People simply recognized danger when it entered a room. Conversations softened. A waiter carrying champagne stopped so suddenly that the glasses on his tray trembled. Two businessmen near the entrance immediately moved aside. Dante ignored all of them. His attention had already locked onto the woman sitting beside the windows. Nadia Pembroke, his assistant, his most trusted employee, the woman who had spent 4 years organizing his impossible life. And she was sitting with another man. Worse, she was laughing with him. Dante stopped. Something dark passed across his face. Nadia looked completely different from the woman who walked into Bellucci Holdings every morning at 7:30, carrying 2 coffees and enough confidence to challenge him before breakfast. Tonight, her usual professional suit was gone. She wore an elegant royal blue dress that complemented her full figure beautifully. Her dark curls rested against her shoulders, and the smile on her face was softer than anything Dante had seen at the office. The man sitting opposite her reached across the table. His fingers covered Nadia's hand. Dante's jaw tightened. His security chief, Ronan Voss, stopped behind him. "Voss!" Dante didn't answer. Dante, still nothing. Ronan followed his stare. Then he understood. "Oh." Dante finally spoke. "Who is he?" Ronan looked again. "I have no idea." "Find out. You want me to investigate a man because he's having dinner?" Dante slowly turned his head. Ronan immediately corrected himself. "I'll find out." But Dante wasn't waiting. He started across the restaurant. And what happened when he reached Nadia's table would leave everyone around them speechless. If you enjoy powerful stories filled with unexpected twists, emotion, loyalty, and unforgettable moments, subscribe to the channel now, because Dante Bellucci thought he understood exactly where Nadia belonged in his life. Tonight, he was about to discover how wrong he had been. 4 years earlier, Nadia Pembroke had walked into Bellucci Holdings for a job interview she wasn't supposed to get. The company occupied the top floors of one of Manhattan's most expensive towers. Officially, Bellucci Holdings specialized in commercial property, international freight, private security, and luxury hospitality. Unofficially, people whispered another story. The Bellucci family had influence in places influence could not easily be purchased. Ports, unions, private clubs, construction companies, political offices, and neighborhoods where even the police knew when not to ask unnecessary questions. At the center of everything stood Dante Bellucci, 37 years old, disciplined, calculating, almost impossible to intimidate. He had inherited a damaged organization at 28 and transformed it into something far more sophisticated. Dante didn't shout. He didn't need to. His silence frightened people more effectively. When Nadia first entered his office, Dante barely glanced at her resume. "You have no executive-level experience." Nadia sat opposite him. "I noticed." Dante lifted his eyes. Most applicants became nervous when he looked directly at them. Nadia didn't. "Then why are you here?" "Because your company invited me. My human resources department invited you." "Which is part of your company?" Dante stared. Nadia smiled politely. He glanced at her resume again. "You were an administrative coordinator. For 3 years. At a company 1/10 this size." "Correct. You believe that qualifies you to manage my office?" "No." That surprised him. "No. I think being organized qualifies me to manage your office. My previous job simply proved somebody was willing to pay me for it." Dante leaned back. Nadia continued. "I've also been sitting outside for 43 minutes. His eyes narrowed. "The previous interview ran late." "No. The previous applicant left 27 minutes ago." Silence. Nadia pointed toward his desk. "You've taken 3 phone calls since then, signed something twice, and spent 6 minutes staring through that window." Dante almost smiled. "Almost. You're observant. That's why I'm here." He hired her the following morning. Within 6 months, Dante couldn't understand how his office had functioned without her. Within a year, Nadia knew almost everything. Which investors could be trusted, which executives needed watching, which clients responded to pressure, which ones responded to charm. She could recognize Dante's mood from the way he placed his phone on the desk. She knew when to cancel meetings without asking. She knew when he needed coffee and when coffee would only make him more unbearable. She became the one person in Bellucci Holdings who could enter his office without knocking. "Your 11 o'clock is here," she said one morning. Dante continued reading. "Cancel it." "No." His eyes rose. "No. You canceled him twice. Then he'll survive a third. He controls 3 warehouses you need for the Valencia contract." Dante stared. Nadia folded her arms. At size 22, Nadia had spent years dealing with people who assumed a plus-size woman should either disappear into oversized clothing or spend her life apologizing for being noticed. Nadia did neither. She loved bold dresses. She loved tailored jackets. She loved bright colors. And she had learned something important long before meeting Dante Bellucci. Confidence did not require permission. Dante pointed toward the door. 5 minutes. You're giving him 30. 15. 25. 20. Nadia smiled. I'll tell him 30. She left. Dante watched her go. His younger cousin, Enzo Bellucci, was sitting across from him. Enzo laughed. Dante looked at him. What? Nothing. Then stopped smiling. Enzo's smile widened. You realize she's the only person in New York who talks to you like that? She works for me. That doesn't answer the question. Dante returned to his documents. Enzo leaned forward. You like her? Dante didn't even blink. Nadia is excellent at her job. I didn't say you admired her filing system. Dante's eyes lifted. Do you have somewhere else to be? Enzo immediately stood. Several places. Choose one. Enzo left laughing. Dante dismissed the conversation. Nadia was his assistant, his most valuable employee, his closest professional advisor. Nothing more. That explanation worked perfectly until Sebastian Crow arrived. Nadia met Sebastian on a Wednesday afternoon when the elevator doors opened and a man carrying architectural drawings nearly walked directly into her. Sorry. Nadia stepped aside. You almost killed me with a blueprint. Sebastian looked at the enormous roll beneath his arm. I've always suspected architecture was dangerous. She laughed. He smiled. Sebastian Crow. Nadia Pembroke. His expression changed. The Nadia Pembroke? She raised an eyebrow. Should I be concerned? Everyone downstairs told me if I wanted anything approved in this building, I needed to speak with Nadia. Smart people downstairs. Sebastian had been hired to redesign one of Bellucci Holdings' flagship hotels. He was easygoing where Dante was intense. Warm where Dante was guarded. He enjoyed talking. More importantly, he enjoyed listening. Over the next several weeks, Sebastian found increasingly unnecessary reasons to visit the executive floor. Nadia noticed. So did Dante. The first incident involved coffee. Sebastian appeared at Nadia's desk carrying a cup. Hazelnut latte. Nadia looked delighted. You remembered. Dante stepped out of his office at exactly that moment. His gaze went from Sebastian to the coffee, then to Nadia. Meeting. Nadia checked the clock. In 20 minutes. Now, you specifically told me. Schedule changed. Sebastian smiled. I'll let you work. Dante watched him walk toward the elevator, then looked at Nadia's coffee. You don't drink hazelnut. Nadia stared at him. Yes, I do. No, you don't. I've been drinking it for years. You drink black coffee. That's your coffee. Dante stopped. Nadia slowly smiled. You don't know my coffee order. He looked mildly offended. I know everything about this office. Apparently not. She picked up the hazelnut latte. Now, what emergency required moving a 20-minute meeting? Dante had no emergency. He turned toward his office. Come inside. The second incident involved flowers. A bouquet of orange roses arrived on Friday. Dante walked past Nadia's desk. Stopped. Walked backward. Looked at the flowers. What are those? Nadia didn't look away from her computer. Documents. Dante frowned. She smiled. Flowers, Dante. From whom? Someone. What someone? A man. His expression immediately hardened. Nadia finally looked at him. Is there a business reason you need to know? Dante stared at the card. She quickly took it. No. Then stop interrogating my flowers. He returned to his office. 10 minutes later, Ronan entered. Dante didn't look up. Sebastian Crow. Ronan waited. What about him? Background. Ronan slowly smiled. Dante looked up. Something amusing? Not remotely. Good. Ronan sat. He's 35. Architect. Divorced. No children. Owns his firm. No criminal record. Financially stable. Apparently likes sailing. Dante's eyes narrowed. You already investigated him? Everyone working on a Bellucci property gets checked. Dante relaxed slightly. Any problems? No. Look harder. Ronan stared at him. Dante, what? Are you jealous? No. You asked me to investigate an architect because he bought Nadia flowers. I asked you to ensure he's trustworthy. What? Dante didn't answer. Ronan leaned back. This is going to be entertaining. Leave. Gladly. The situation became worse. Sebastian invited Nadia to dinner. She accepted. Dante discovered this because Nadia left at 6 instead of her usual 7:30. Where are you going? She stopped beside his office. Home. You're wearing earrings. Nadia blinked. I generally do. Not those. She touched the long gold earrings. You're monitoring my jewelry now? Dante realized how ridiculous he sounded. No. Good night. Nadia. She turned. He wanted to ask. He refused. Monday's briefing. Finished. The contract revisions. Your desk. Tokyo numbers. Email. He had nothing left. Nadia waited. Anything else? No. Good night, Dante. She disappeared into the elevator. He stood staring at the closed doors. Enzo walked past. Date? Dante glared at him. Enzo nodded. Definitely a date. Don't you have work? I finished. Find more. The following morning, Nadia arrived smiling. Dante hated that smile. Not because it wasn't beautiful. Because he hadn't caused it. He lasted until 10:15. How was dinner? Nadia stopped typing. What dinner? Dante immediately realized his mistake. Her expression became amused. You mean my date? I didn't say date. You didn't need to. How was it? Wonderful. Dante's jaw moved. Wonderful. That's generally considered positive. I know what wonderful means. Then why repeat it? He returned to his office. Nadia watched him go. She knew. Of course she knew. She had spent 4 years reading Dante Bellucci better than anyone. He was jealous. The problem was that Nadia didn't know what his jealousy meant. Possession? Ego? Habit? Or something deeper? She refused to guess. She had spent too much of her life accepting half-hearted attention from people who expected her gratitude simply because they noticed her. She would not do that again. If Dante wanted something, he would have to say it. Then came the Bellucci Foundation Gala. The annual event raised millions for community programs across New York. Nadia had spent 3 months organizing it. For once, she intended to enjoy herself. She invited Sebastian. When Dante discovered this, he said absolutely nothing, which was considerably more frightening than anger. On the night of the gala, Dante arrived late after an emergency meeting. The rooftop restaurant had been transformed. Glass walls revealed the Manhattan skyline. Hundreds of candles reflected across polished tables. A string quartet played near the terrace. Dante greeted several donors. Then he saw Nadia. Everything else disappeared. She wore royal blue. The elegant dress celebrated her figure instead of hiding it. Her curls framed her face, and her smile carried a confidence Dante had always admired but had somehow failed to truly appreciate. Sebastian stood beside her. His hand rested over hers. Dante stopped hearing the conversation around him. Sebastian leaned closer. Nadia laughed. Then Sebastian said something Dante couldn't hear. Nadia smiled. Dante felt something snap. Ronan appeared. Don't. Dante kept staring. I haven't done anything. You're about to. Sebastian moved his chair closer to Nadia. Dante started walking. Dante! He ignored Ronan. Guests noticed him crossing the room. Nadia looked up. Her smile disappeared. Sebastian followed her gaze. Dante reached the table. Mr. Bellucci, Sebastian said. Great event. Dante didn't respond. His attention remained on Nadia. Can I help you? She asked. Who's this? Nadia stared at him. You know Sebastian. I know who he is. Then why did you ask? Sebastian looked between them. I think I'm missing something. Dante finally looked at him. Yes. Nadia stood. Dante, what? Whatever you're doing, stop. I I need to speak with you. Then we can speak tomorrow. No. Her eyes narrowed. I'm not working. This isn't about work. That surprised her. Sebastian slowly stood. Maybe I should. Dante looked at him. Yes. Nadia immediately said, sit down, Sebastian. Sebastian remained awkwardly halfway between standing and sitting. Dante looked at Nadia. She looked at him. Neither moved. Then Sebastian made a terrible mistake. He placed his hand gently around Nadia's. Dante looked down at their joined hands. Something in his expression changed. Sebastian noticed too late. Dante stepped forward. Take your hand off her. Gasps came from nearby tables. Nadia's eyes widened. Dante. Sebastian slowly released her. Mr. Bellucci, I don't understand the problem. The problem, Dante said quietly, is that you're sitting here touching. He stopped. Nadia stared at him. Touching what? Dante looked at her. Dozens of people were now watching. He should have walked away. He should have remembered his reputation, his position, his self-control. Instead, 4 years of denial collapsed at once. He turned toward Sebastian. She's mine. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the quartet seemed to stop. Nadia stared at him. Sebastian stared at him. Ronan closed his eyes. Enzo, standing 20 feet away, nearly dropped his champagne. Nadia slowly stood. What did you just say? Dante realized immediately that he had made a catastrophic mistake. But Dante Bellucci was not a man accustomed to retreating. I heard what you said. Nadia stepped closer. Her voice remained calm. That was worse. I want you to explain it. Dante glanced at the people watching. Privately. No. Nadia. You made the announcement publicly. Several guests suddenly found their drinks fascinating. So explain it publicly. Dante lowered his voice. I don't like him touching you. Sebastian raised his eyebrows. Nadia folded her arms. And that makes me yours? Dante didn't answer. You don't own me, Dante. I know. Do you? Yes. Because it certainly didn't sound like it. He looked around. People were openly pretending not to listen. Dante took a breath. You're right. That surprised everyone. Especially Nadia. Dante turned toward Sebastian. I apologize. Sebastian blinked. You do? Yes. Enzo whispered from across the room. Someone record this. Ronan elbowed him. Dante looked back at Nadia. I handled that badly. Very badly. I know. Possibly historically badly. Yes. Nadia picked up her clutch. I need air. She walked toward the terrace. Dante followed. She turned. Not you. He stopped. Those 2 words somehow accomplished what dozens of powerful men had failed to do. Dante Bellucci obeyed. Sebastian approached him. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Sebastian said, You know, for an intelligent man, that was spectacularly stupid. Ronan turned away to hide a smile. Dante stared at Sebastian. You're becoming very brave. I've had champagne. Dante looked toward the terrace. Nadia stood alone near the railing. Sebastian followed his gaze. You love her. Dante looked sharply at him. Sebastian shrugged. Everybody can see it. I didn't. That appears to be the problem. Dante said nothing. Sebastian continued. For what it's worth, Nadia and I aren't together. Dante turned. What? We've had dinner. You held her hand. Yes. That generally means something. It means I like her. Dante's expression darkened again. Sebastian raised his hands. But she doesn't look at me the way she looks at you. Dante glanced toward Nadia. What does that mean? You seriously don't know? No. Sebastian laughed. Then good luck. Before Dante could answer, Ronan's phone buzzed. His expression changed immediately. Boss. Dante recognized the tone. What? We've got a security problem downstairs. The romantic disaster vanished from his face. What kind? Someone breached the private office. Nadia heard that. She turned from the terrace. Which office? Ronan hesitated. Dante's. Nadia immediately returned. What was taken? We don't know. Dante looked toward the elevator. Lock the building. Ronan nodded. Nadia was already thinking. The Monaco file. Dante looked at her. What? If someone entered your office tonight, they weren't looking for cash. She moved quickly. The Monaco acquisition documents are the only physical records in your office that haven't been transferred to secure storage. Dante's expression hardened. The documents contained confidential information regarding a major European acquisition. If a competitor obtained them, months of negotiations could collapse. "Come with me," Dante told Ronan. Nadia followed. Dante stopped her. "No." She stared. "No. You're staying here. You've apparently forgotten who organized those files." "I haven't forgotten anything." "Then move." "Nadia." "Dante." Sebastian wisely stepped backward. Dante lowered his voice. "There may be someone downstairs. And I'm not putting you in danger." Nadia stared at him. "5 minutes ago, I was apparently yours. Now I'm too fragile to walk downstairs." "That isn't what I meant." "Then stop deciding what I can handle." Dante's frustration disappeared. Something else replaced it. "Fear." "Nadia." His voice softened. "If something happened to you because of me." He stopped. Nadia's expression changed. Dante looked away. For the first time, she understood. This wasn't about ownership. It wasn't even really about Sebastian. Dante was terrified. Terrified of losing her. Ronan interrupted. "We need to move." They took the private elevator downstairs. Security teams searched the executive floor. Dante's office door was open. Nothing appeared disturbed. Nadia entered. She scanned the room. Desk. Cabinets. Safe. Window. Then she smiled. They didn't get it. Dante looked at her. "How do you know?" "The Monaco file isn't here." Ronan frowned. "Where is it?" "My apartment." Dante stared. "You took confidential documents home?" "I moved them yesterday." "Why?" "Because someone tried accessing the digital copy Tuesday." Silence. Dante's face hardened. "You knew." "I suspected." "And didn't tell me?" "I was confirming it." "Nadia." She opened her clutch and removed a small flash drive. "The actual contracts are encrypted here." Ronan looked impressed. Dante looked furious. "You were carrying that around tonight?" "No." She smiled. "This is empty." Dante stared. Nadia pointed toward his desk. "The real drive is somewhere nobody in this organization would ever search." "Where?" "Inside your emergency tea box." Ronan burst out laughing. Dante looked offended. "I don't drink tea." "Exactly." Security eventually discovered that the intruder was an employee working for a rival investor. The man was caught attempting to leave through the underground garage. No documents were lost. No confidential data escaped. By midnight, the crisis was over. But Nadia and Dante still had unfinished business. She found him alone on the rooftop terrace. The gala had ended. The city glittered beneath them. Dante heard her approach. "I owe you another apology." "Yes." He turned. Nadia stood several feet away. "Why did you say it?" He knew exactly what she meant. "She's mine." Dante looked toward the skyline. "I was jealous." "I figured that out. More jealous than I thought I was capable of being." "That doesn't explain it." "No." He faced her. "The truth. I would appreciate that." Dante nodded. "For 4 years, you've been the first person I see almost every morning." Nadia listened. "You know everything about my life. You know when I'm angry before I say anything. You know which deals I'm going to reject before I've finished reading them." A tiny smile touched her mouth. "You're predictable. I'm terrifying. You can be both." Dante almost smiled. Then his expression became serious again. "I became accustomed to you." Nadia's smile disappeared. "That isn't particularly flattering." "I haven't finished." He stepped closer, but maintained a space between them. "I became so accustomed to having you beside me that I stopped considering the possibility that one day you might choose to be somewhere else." Nadia said nothing. Then Sebastian appeared. "And you became impossible." "Yes." "You investigated him." "Yes." "You moved meetings." "Yes." "You interrogated my flowers." "I still don't trust those flowers." Nadia tried not to smile. "Failed." Dante continued. "Tonight, when I saw you with him, I realized I wasn't angry because someone was taking my assistant." His voice softened. "I was afraid someone else had recognized the woman I should have appreciated long ago." Nadia's eyes stayed on his. "That still doesn't make me yours." "No." Dante nodded. "You're yours." That answer mattered. "And if you'll allow it, I'd like the opportunity to become someone you choose." Nadia hadn't expected that. Dante Bellucci commanded people, negotiated with them, intimidated them. He rarely asked. Tonight he was asking. What about Sebastian? Dante sighed. I would prefer he relocate to another continent. Dante, but I won't interfere. Good. I'll dislike him privately. Acceptable. And if he sends more flowers, you'll do nothing. He grimaced. I'll attempt to do nothing. Nadia laughed. Dante looked at her. There was again the laugh that had nearly driven him insane earlier. Except now he understood something. He didn't want to own it. He wanted to earn more of it. Nadia stepped closer. Dinner. Dante blinked. What? One dinner. With me? No, with Ronan. From the doorway, Ronan shouted, Absolutely not. Nadia laughed again. Dante shook his head. One dinner. One. Tomorrow. Saturday. Tomorrow. Saturday, Dante. He studied her. You negotiate everything. You hired me. Saturday. Nadia smiled. 7:30. 7:30. Fine. She started walking toward the door. Nadia. She turned. Dante looked suddenly uncomfortable. What? That thing I said earlier. She's mine. His jaw tightened. You're going to make me suffer for that, aren't you? For years. Dante sighed. I deserve it. Yes. She disappeared inside. Ronan stepped onto the terrace. Dante stared at him. Not one word. Ronan nodded. She's mine. Dante glared. Ronan immediately retreated. By Monday morning, the story had spread through Bellucci Holdings. Nobody knew exactly what had happened, but rumors moved faster than elevators. Some claimed Dante had threatened Sebastian. Others claimed Nadia had slapped Dante. Neither was true. The only undeniable fact was that something had changed. At 7:30, Nadia arrived. A massive bouquet sat on her desk. She stopped. White lilies, orange roses, sunflowers. A handwritten card rested between them. Nadia opened it. I asked the florist what confident women like. Apparently the answer is not being told what they like. So I bought everything. Dinner Saturday. Nadia laughed. Dante's office door opened. He leaned against the frame. Well, terrible card. His expression fell. But good flowers. He relaxed. Saturday. Dante nodded. Then Nadia pointed at him. And if you ever walk across another restaurant and announce that I'm yours. I won't. Good. Dante hesitated. What if someone asks? Dante. Kidding. She narrowed her eyes. You don't know how to joke. I'm developing new skills. Nadia picked up her coffee. You should focus on your existing ones. She walked into his office. Dante followed. Neither knew exactly what would happen after Saturday. And that was fine. Because for once, Dante Bellucci wasn't controlling the outcome. He was simply giving another person the freedom to choose him. And Nadia? Nadia hadn't changed at all. She had never needed the attention of a powerful man to make her important. She had been intelligent before Dante noticed. Beautiful before Dante became jealous. Confident before Sebastian invited her to dinner. And valuable long before an entire restaurant heard Dante Bellucci make the most reckless declaration of his life. That was precisely what made her unforgettable. She never needed to belong to Dante. Dante needed to learn that loving someone wasn't about claiming them. It was about becoming worthy of being chosen by them. Saturday evening, Dante arrived at the restaurant at 6:50. Nadia arrived at 7:30. She found him sitting alone. You've been here 40 minutes? 38. You're nervous. No. Nadia sat. Dante immediately corrected himself. Yes. She smiled. Good. Why is that good? Because now we're even. Dante looked confused. Even. You made me nervous for 4 years. I did. You're Dante Bellucci. That doesn't explain anything. Exactly. For once, he didn't press. Dinner lasted 3 hours. They didn't discuss contracts. They didn't discuss investors. They didn't discuss security. Dante discovered Nadia loved terrible mystery movies. Nadia discovered Dante secretly cooked. He discovered she wanted to travel through Greece. She discovered he had wanted a dog since childhood, but had never found the time. And somewhere between dinner and dessert, something shifted. Not dramatically, not magically, simply honestly. When they eventually walked outside, Dante didn't take her hand automatically. He offered his. Nadia looked down, then at him. Dante waited. She smiled and placed her hand in his. And for the first time in his life, Dante Bellucci understood the difference between taking something and being given something willingly. One demanded power. The other required trust. Months later, Sebastian remained the architect overseeing Bellucci Holdings' hotel renovation. Dante still disliked him. Sebastian found this hilarious. Nadia found it even funnier. And Ronan never allowed Dante to forget the night his terrifying boss crossed an entire restaurant, looked directly at another man, and announced two words that nearly destroyed his chances before they had even begun. "She's mine." Whenever Ronan repeated it, Dante threatened to fire him. Whenever Nadia repeated it, Dante became suspiciously quiet. But Nadia knew the truth now. Dante had spent years building an empire where every problem could be solved through money, influence, planning, or authority. Then one plus-size assistant walked into his office and taught him the one lesson power couldn't buy. The people who matter most aren't possessions. They are choices. And the greatest victory isn't making someone stay. It's becoming the person they freely decide to stay beside. If you enjoyed seeing Dante go from nearly losing control when he caught Nadia with another man to finally understanding what she truly meant to him, subscribe to the channel now, because there are many more emotional Mafia stories, shocking twists, and unforgettable characters coming. And I want to know your favorite moment. Was it when Dante saw Sebastian holding Nadia's hand? Was it the moment he crossed the restaurant and stunned everyone by saying, "She's mine"? Or was it when Nadia stood her ground and made one of the most feared men in the city admit that she belonged to nobody but herself? Tell me in the comments. And if Nadia's confidence or Dante's transformation made you enjoy this story, like the video and share it with someone who loves powerful stories with dramatic twists. Because Dante Bellucci thought catching his plus-size assistant with another man would reveal who she belonged with. Instead, it revealed something far more important. Who he needed to become if he wanted her to choose him.